To talk more about the role that tech and AI plays in disaster recovery, I'm joined now by Ray Wang. He's the principal analyst, founder and chairman of Silicon Valley-based Constellation Research. Thanks for joining us here once again. Now, let's start with social media and how it can be used to not only help with search and recovery efforts, but also the early warning systems that it provides as well.
Sadly, social media has played an amazing role. What it does is it takes large communities, it takes individuals, and it brings their issues to life and in real time. One of the interesting things we've seen in the past is identifying a potential disaster, identifying where a route might be blocked. It's information, and the speed of information transmitted by social media is unparalleled to none. And so sites like Twitter, sites like Meta and Facebook, other sites that people use around the world, from WeChat to other applications, they all play a role in helping identify where victims might be, identify where opportunities to help, and of course using those tools to raise funds. And we've seen that work in every single disaster since we've had social media in play.
But there are challenges, aren't there? Break down for us what happened with Twitter in Turkey.
Yeah, so one of the challenges with Twitter is really they're in between. They've had a huge loss of engineers. About 80% of their engineers have left. They also have had an issue as they've been making upgrades to make tweets longer, and paid services come into play. And of course, their APIs have been announced to be closed to some. And of course, you know, as the other reporter noted, there's challenges in terms of what they're trying to do to charge for those APIs for nonprofits in terms of affordability. All those factors came into play during the Turkey earthquakes, and that's created a lot of friction that normally wouldn't be there. Areas where people were able to access APIs, and these are the ways you can connect to data, you can connect to networks, so you can identify not just cries for help, but also identify concentrations of areas that actually may need more help, or help early and advanced teams to be able to find out where they need to reallocate resources to help. So emergency crews and advanced crews can go out and find out where they might need to open a road, where they might need to bring more resources to an area, bring water, for example, also bring food to be dropped by drones in other areas. And so that location capability, the mapping capability, is coming from social media.
And does that also feed into the idea that some of the controversies within the government and Twitter affect recovery and aid efforts? What can be done to better mitigate the fallout from something like this?
Yeah, the challenge right now is it's a public good that Twitter had provided in the past, and other social networks in the region might not necessarily have the same reach and efficacy. And I think governments and of all parties will be thinking about how they want to reach their citizens and their communities. We do see other networks that are emerging to do that, but they're not as robust and as rich, and it really requires the large network and the large number of users to be part of it for it to work. But other areas that can help, you know, in some countries, you might not trust your government, you might trust a party, or you might trust other individuals, is to actually subscribe or contribute to those networks. And so we'll see more alternative networks come into play as organizations think about disaster recovery, disaster warning, and disaster prevention capabilities.
So what do you think is the potential of emerging technology like artificial intelligence, for example, when it comes to disaster relief?
The power of AI is really the ability to take analytics, the ability to automate that information, and the ability to actually find patterns. And so AI, for example, can identify potentially where a hotspot might occur before it even occurs. So if you notice that maybe a bridge goes out or a power line goes out, the AI capability will learn from previous disasters and figure out maybe a flood will occur, maybe a fire will occur, maybe a gas leak might occur, and being able to prevent those issues and create early warning systems could potentially save hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of lives, depending how dense the population is. The other area where we see AI play a role is it could be used in preventative capabilities. Maybe you don't put a building in a certain location because it's on a fault line that wasn't discovered, or it's on an area where it might be susceptible to flooding in the middle of an earthquake, or potentially you might find sinkholes in a region that you might not have known. And I think that would help in the future to prevent shoddy construction, and to also actually put in building codes and standards that might save lives as well.
All right, Ray Wang, Constellation Research, thanks very much for your time.
Take care.